Hi everyone, and you should be seeing this week's talk. I put it up on Monday, early Monday. Oh, it was Sunday night. But in addition, there's also the grades that I made available, and I believe that was on Monday. So just the purpose of this talk is really to sort of review your assignment 2. And some of you did some great work. Some of you, there could be improvements. One of the things about writing proposals, and it can be tricky in writing proposals. You have all these ideas and you want to put it in paper and put it down on paper. And sometimes it's not linear, it's not logical. The thought process, things get a bit mixed up. And that's why you would tend to use subheadings. I think subheadings really help when you are actually writing proposals. So I want you to think about when you're writing proposals. I want you to get some practice in this. And this is one of the ideas. Besides implementing the concepts that we learn in this class, it's also about, at the end of the day, most digital projects are really funded by soft money. And if you are going to be involved in that, you have to at least get some sort of practice in writing proposals. The thing about proposals is when you submit a proposal, remember you're submitting, in the real world, you're submitting proposals to a body or an individual who is going to get hundreds and hundreds of proposals. Your challenge, or what you should be aimed to be doing, is to be as clear as possible and to state up front what your intentions are. So that's when it's just think about it like a job application. You want to know about the first 2 lines that the reader knows what it is you are saying, what it is you want to do, why it is you're passionate about this, how is this going to make an impact, how is this project going to make an impact. And this is what you want to address up front. You want to state what is goal, what is the objectives, how are you going to achieve this, who are the stakeholders, and then you get into details. So some of the things that when you're doing a proposal is that you have this idea, and a lot of times you have to think about how useful is this idea. Is it needed? Is it needed? Is it unique? Is it something that only you're interested in? Is it something that maybe just a few people would be interested in? Is it too nostalgic? Is it because it's your personal interest? So you got to think about that. You got to think about where it will be worked upon. Who are the stakeholders? Have you spoken to the stakeholders? Do they agree that this is something that needs to be funded or needs to be put in resources into? So these are something that you have to address. Who are the experts that you might need to be involving in this project? Are there other projects similar? Are there people who are actually will be other groups that be interested in working on this project with you? Could you collaborate with anybody else? These are some of the things that you want to think about. It's all about resources. How can you maximize resources? So in any proposal, these are some of the key questions you got to be addressing. There are a number of videos on YouTube that talks about grant proposals, and I think it'd be worth your while to actually go and look at grant proposals on YouTube, or either actually explore other websites that talks about the basic elements in a proposal. If you look at the rubric that I sent, these are some of the elements that I want to see that you are exploring. So some of the things when you're putting out a proposal, one of the key things I've noticed in proposals is that just because you know what the topic is about, just because you are aware of this, think that the reader also should be aware of it. That's not always the case. You want to clearly state if you're using any sort of terms that you feel not everyone would know. You want to be able to explain that very briefly so that the person can get the gist of what it is you're talking about. I mean, generally, proposals are read by people who are within the same content area, but still, ideas that may be pretty inherent with you, the writer, may not be something that the reader understands. So that's something you want to be aware of. You want to know that if you're using any sort of terminology that may not be regularly used, and you want to explain that very clearly and very succinct as to how it is. Don't go into a deep long-winded explanation. Also, many times proposals are about addressing a problem, and you want to give a little briefing about that problem, why this is so. If say for example, poetry. If you why is this important? Why is there a scarcity of venues for this sort of activity? You want to state the problem, and you want to say how your intervention is actually going to help solve that. So these are some of the things that I want to see you sort of address as you go into the final preparation for the final project. So one of the things I want to advise this week is if you can upload your proposals in the discussion board, and just for each other to see what your projects are, and just sort of review it as it evolves. So it's at this stage, so as it evolves into the final project. So I primarily wanted to talk about that particular assignment. I know some of you may think of it was a bit harsh on comments, but I wanted to get that out across. And one of the things you'd want to do, as with any projects, don't overthink it. Just keep it simple. Some people tend to just, think way down in the future, and then they get stuck. You just want to take it in bite-sized pieces, and then maybe in the final section you can talk about how you think this would evolve, sort of speculate on that. So that's it. Just to say, this week we're looking at digital data products, and next week we'll also be looking at that. So as you can see, I have the 2 modules up, so you have access to the readings and everything that it's related to that. I also have the PowerPoint for next week also available, so you can also view that if you want to jump ahead. But I'll have those lectures up early. I think I'm aiming to have that up this week. So that's it. And any questions, any concerns, feel free to contact me. You can always, if you want to have a one-on-one appointment or one-on-one talk by the phone, that will be also good as well. So reach out to me if there are any concerns. Bye for now.